Naturals fans, really glad to see you again. Nick Batters chatted with one of the outfielders for your Northwest Arkansas Naturals, Brewer Hicklen. Brewer, how are we doing?
Glad to see you, Nick.
Good to see you. How's the offseason been so far? What have you been up to since the Naturals won the AA Central Championship?
Came back down to Alabama and spent some time with my wife and my dog and our new house, and just kind of had a list of things that were ready to get done from the wife that was getting postponed all summer. So worked in the yard, cleaned up a little bit around the house, and got back in the gym after a couple of weeks off, and just been hitting and throwing. And Blake Perkins actually moved down to Alabama with me this year, so getting to spend some time with fellow Naturals outfielder Blake as well.
Take us through, what does a typical day in your life look like during the offseason?
Oh man, day in the life is get up about 7 o'clock, spend some time with my dog, take him on about a 30 or 40-minute walk, start cooking breakfast about 8:15. Blake comes over every morning for breakfast before we go to the gym, and go hit from 9 to 11, and 11 to 1 we're at the gym, and come home and work around the house.
Okay, there you go.
Do a little lesson some days, but just a couple of days.
Well, let's look back at this season a little bit, because you were one of a handful of players that were not only with the Naturals at the start of the season, but there for the championship as well. What made this team so special, both at the start and at the end of the season?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting as you look back. You have a tale of two different teams. Literally seemed like it was a completely different lineup, except for maybe me and one other person on the last lineup compared to the opening day lineup. So it was definitely two different teams, two different vibes, two different set of talents, but both teams unique in their own way. Both jived. The first kind of wave of people I had played with for the last couple of years, so I was really, really close with them. And then the second wave that came in toward the second half was some guys that had gotten drafted after me, and I got to really get to know those guys and really watch them work. And it was really neat to be able to see kind of the talent that we have below me and coming up, and really kind of a surreal feeling to know that we've got two teams that are easily capable of winning a championship, and then what you look at high as well. And so it's a special time in the Royals farm system, and I'm just grateful to be a part of it.
Not only this year, but if you look at past teams you've played on, Lexington in 2018, Wilmington in 2019, both with Scott Thorman. Heck, you could throw the Arizona Fall League in there in 2019. Yep. You guys made it to the championship game. What's been so special about each of those teams, or maybe what makes Thor such a good manager?
Yeah, Thor, going back to 2018 in Lexington, I didn't actually start the season there. I was there, I guess, about a month and a half. I got stuck back in extended spring training. Kind of a crazy moment, just being stuck after getting drafted, not getting to go out and play the game that you thought you were getting paid to play, just getting stuck there. So kind of just started off on a weird note. But when I got to Lexington, really struggled early on, kind of as I have every year. I think I was like 1 for 18, my first 18 at bats, just really like, golly, what is this about? But Thor kind of from the beginning has believed in me, and he saw me play and saw the work ethic that I had and the heart and the hustle that I put into each and every game. And I think that's kind of the player that he was. So he respects that for me. And, I would do anything for him. And I feel like he would do the same for me. And, just to have somebody that trusts you, and he knows what he's going to get from me, and I know what I'm going to get from him. But it's also really interesting to see both of us grow the last 3 years as I've kind of grown into a more mature, I guess you want to say adult, but 25 now. So, going from 22 to 25, he's got a whole different kind of Brewer to deal with, because at 22, he's still kind of trying to mold me into a professional baseball player. But here I am, a couple of years down the line. I've got my routine figured out for the most part, and just continuing to develop as a player and a person. But, you kind of get your mold together and you figure out exactly who your identity is as a baseball player. And I'm just kind of trying to build up on that.
Now, there wasn't an MVP for the championship series, but if there was, I think it probably would have gone to you, because your impact in that series can't be understated enough. Game one, let's look at first. In the top of the seventh inning, you make a leaping catch in the outfield. And then at the bottom of the seventh, you hit the go-ahead home run that kind of shifted the momentum. Let's first take me through that game one.
Man, what you play for, really? Truly. It's just something that I feel like after such a long season and me just continuing to be faithful, I just went out there and didn't do anything abnormal. I just played my game. And, I want the pitchers to know that when I'm in left or right field that I'm going to give it my all. I can't even remember how many times I ran into the fence this year. It had to be 10 to 15 times, but that's kind of just the mentality that I have. I mean, I'm going to go out there and play my heart out and give it all, because one day it's all going to be over and I want to be able to look back and say that I gave it my all. So it was just me really being me and going out there and hustling and playing and trying to make a play for the team. I knew it was a huge moment in the game. And, obviously after I was coming in from making the play, I think I was like, first or second up. So I had the whole long run in, heart rate still high, just really tried to slow my heart rate down. And I blacked out. I don't even remember the count or anything, but I just remember when I hit it, I knew it was gone and it felt good. And so, that definitely was a nice cap to the first victory of our championship run.
So the Naturals take game 1 and then game 2 at home, heading out to Wichita with a chance to sweep. The wind surge got up early. It was a really good crowd at Riverfront Stadium. I mean, it was completely packed. But the fact that Wichita took the early lead, you guys didn't let affect the team. And then you came up in a familiar situation, bases loaded, go ahead grand slam. That completely shifted the momentum of the game. You guys didn't look back. Take me through that at bat. What were you looking for? What did you get?
Well, you hit it, right on the head to start. We got down early, but we didn't give up, and that's really the whole testament to this whole team. Like, I mean, I can look back at 2019 in Wilmington when we were down 2 games and came back and beat Salem 3 in a row. I can look at Boys Creek, or not Boys Creek, but Fayetteville when we were in the championship run. So we've had our backs against the wall a ton. And you look at even getting into the playoffs, right? Yeah. It's so it was a familiar situation for us, but yeah, into the at bat, I believe it was an 0-2 count, if I remember correctly. And I really was just trying to get a fly ball in the air to have, get one run in and not hit the ball on the ground. Because if I know I hit it hard on the ground, there's a chance of a double play. So I remember like just choking up a little bit, slowing my heart rate down, just trusting myself, giving myself confidence, positive self-talk. And fortunately, I was able to poke one out to left field. And I mean, I still go back and watch the video every once in a while just to get some chills. But I just be watching velo around the base and jump. And because that was his first run. So that's the stuff that really excites me. And I just remember rounding the bases, just Thor big grin on his face and just big old manly handshake at third. So it was a special time. And Blake Perkins and I, when we were going down the stretch of the season, we said that's what we wanted to do. So to be able to cap that off for my 3rd year in a row is a really special feeling.
You mentioned Blake. Both of you hit 2 grand slams against Wichita this season. His came in the span of the same series. Freddie Fermin had a lot of success against Wichita this year. Dairon Blanco was really good against the wind surge the first couple of times the 2 teams faced off. So it kind of just was the perfect storm at the end of the season that the 2 teams were facing each other for the championship. But that final stretch, that last weekend is just completely crazy. And I talked with a few of you guys about it, about like the possible scenarios that would be needed for the Naturals to get to the championship series. And then by the final day, there was one way that it could happen. And that happened. I love the energy in that last game of the regular season against Springfield. Just take me through what was the energy like in the dugout? Because as the game got on, it was getting better and better.
Yeah, it was weird, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. Probably one of the most weird moments of my my minor league career. Because I'll be honest with you, I had my bags packed in my car because we had already moved out of the apartment. Because looking at odds, it just wasn't gonna happen.
Sure.
And so I was planning on leaving Monday morning if we lost, but we still had the hope. So I had like my one little bag, like one bag with my set underwear, shirt, the possibility. Okay. And we got there, man, and we got off to a hot start and got some runs and felt good about it. But we needed 2 other teams to lose, so it wasn't in our hands. So we were kind of handling our business, trying to still focus on what we were doing. But in the dugout, we're like, yo, what's the score? Yo, what's the score? And talk about a roller coaster game down in Frisco, home run, tie, home run, go ahead, tie, and it just back and forth. So roller coaster emotions.
One of the things that's really impressive to me about this season was the fact that you had an extended slow start to the season. The first half was kind of rough, but you really turned things on down the final 2 months of the season. That series in Tulsa, it kind of seemed like the 2 home run game was a turning point for you. How do you get out of that low spot in your season to be able to turn it around and make that championship series push?
There's no question that it was a slow start. I mean, that's even a generous. I was at a snail's pace. It was a struggles like I've never been around in my whole life, but failure is inevitable in life. And that's something that I've really kind of grown to just accept, because success is not near as sweet without failure. And so being able to have that success at the end of the year was that much sweeter. But looking back just at the struggles and at the roller coaster of emotions of just, dealing with anxiety and sitting in bed wondering what in the world is going on. It was really new to me. I had never really experienced anything like that. And I mean, my faith is something that's really important to me. So I knew I could rely on God and understanding that there's a purpose for everything that happens. And my foundation is built on that, and not the game of baseball. But when you really look at, the time, the effort, the energy, the heart, the hustle spent toward the game of baseball, and the sacrifices that you make toward the game of baseball, and you have continued failure night in and night out and night in and night out, it really takes a toll on you. And, it was an opportunity in July where I was trying to ball it in, man. I was trying to hold it in and be strong, because I had been, that leader in the clubhouse that people looked up to, and I didn't really want to look like a weak point. And it really just hit a breaking point, like you said. I guess it was like mid-July, and after a tough game, tough stretch, man, I had to just make a call and get it off my chest. And that was really one of the most freeing times in my life, just to be able to speak my frustrations, to speak my pain, to speak my hurt. And just being able to have somebody to call was really, really important for me. I just remember bawling my eyes out, hardly able to get any words out, but to be able to just express that hurt with somebody else and let them cope with me and just speak life into me was really, really important for my growing process. And, like I said, my faith is the number one most important factor in my life. And that's, I wouldn't change a thing about it. God really molded me into who I am today, and I really grew from it and became a better person because of it. And so I just, it was a great reminder to not put my identity in what I do, but who I am. And that's, a child of God, and to be trying to further his kingdom in everything I do. So I was really able to put that into perspective this year. And for anybody that goes through those struggles, we all hit the breaking point, and it's important to have somebody to talk to be able to get that off your chest and have a support team behind you, rooting you on and believing in you.
I think it highlights a lot of really important ideas. One of them being, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to seek help, but also these athletes are humans. You guys are real people too, and go through your own struggles.
Yeah. I think fans, I mean, they often think when we fail, it's like, what do you think I'm trying to do? I'm trying to do everything I can to succeed. But, if everybody succeeded, then the game would be irrelevant, because it's not possible,
Yeah.
And so somebody has to fail for somebody to succeed in the game of baseball. And so it's a lose-lose battle. There's always going to be somebody upset, but nobody's going to be more upset than me when I fail. And I'm one of the most perfectionist people, and I get extremely frustrated because I work hard at what I do, and I want to have success. And so when I put all that time and energy into something, I want it to fold out how I planned for it to fold out, but it doesn't always do that.
Home runs are fun. Diving catches in the outfield are exciting. But the stolen bases were going up and up. That final week of the season, how badly did you want to get to 40 steals?
Oh, man. Don't even want to talk about it. I was fretting, because the year before I had 38 stolen bases, and I went 1 for my last 6 on stolen bases. And so I ain't gonna lie, I was thinking hard about it.
Yeah.
I am not going to lie. I put a lot of energy and thought into that one, and I was just trying to get it out of my way. That just because you got to get on first to be able to steal second. Yeah. So it starts carrying over.
If I remember correctly, you entered a game sitting on 38, and I think you swiped second and third It might not have been back-to-back pitches, but it was right there.
I think it was. Yeah, well, I don't know back to back, but it was swipe first or swipe second and swipe third, and that was a relief. I was like, okay, because I wasn't even thinking. I got 30, and I wasn't when I was the second. I wasn't thinking okay, 39, got to get to 40. I was just like out there, trying to go. I was trying to steal every time I got out there, as long as it was within the reason. So that was something that made Jason Miguel, our first base coach, and I were working hard to get, and that's something I had been trying to get for 2 years. So very special.
We wind down our time chatting with Brewer Hicklen. I want to dive into your involvement in the community a little bit, because that's one thing that I really love seeing on social media. Your involvement in the community, getting out there, working with kids, doing camps. And I want to make sure we touch on that a little bit. What are you doing in the community right now? It seems like every time I log on to social media, there's a different camp that you're promoting or doing. What are you up to right now in the community?
Yeah, I think anytime, somebody I say of my stature, and by no means am I trying to toot my own horn, but people, just naturally look up to professional athletes. So I don't really take that lightly. So anytime I'm able to come back to my home community where people have believed in me, given me so many opportunities, I want to try to be able to give back to them as well. And so even just a couple of days ago, we had an autograph signing at a good friend of mine's State Farm agency. There was a couple pro guys that came back into town. Kyle Wright, who plays with the Braves, came because he's a local guy. And so there was just a couple of us that wanted to do that for the community. We had silent auction that we were able to raise some money and give back to some charities. And then every year, which next year will be my 5th year doing my youth baseball camp, which is always something that I really look forward to. Being a perfectionist, I work really, really, really hard on trying to create that atmosphere to be one of a kind. We normally have about 100 kids out there running around, and we'll partner with Boys and Girls Club and provide some scholarships for some of those kids to come out and experience the game of baseball. But for me, more importantly, to hear the hope and life of Jesus, and just to be around people that are loving and positive, and just they love the game of baseball, but love people more. So that's kind of my mindset when I come back home. And obviously we're tired when we get done with the season, and sometimes it's a choice that you have to make, but it's a choice that I'd make every time. And I'm just grateful, like I said, for people in Huntsville that have believed in me. So it's the least that I can do to be able to give back to them a little bit.
And being in the Royals is the perfect organization to have that mindset with, because the Royals are an organization that gives back. And I know you've done some stuff with the organization as well.
Yeah. I mean, the Royals kind of set the standard, I feel like, on just being giving and having a big heart for others. And, like I said earlier, it's life's bigger than the game of baseball. So it's kind of like, what legacy are you going to leave? And I want to leave a legacy of giving and believing and loving and supporting others. And if I made it about me, that'd be selfish. It's nothing about me. I was just listening to a podcast this morning, and it's like, you just have to put your pride aside and just put others ahead of you. And that's kind of my motto and mentality as I go through everyday life.
Before we let you go, one last thing I want to ask, or maybe a 2-part question. What's your favorite memory from this past season, but also what's your favorite memory specifically from playing at home at Arvest Ballpark?
Ooh, favorite memory, definitely at Arvest Ballpark was that home run for me.
Yeah.
That one was bittersweet. That one felt good. It was just like kind of one of those that you dream of as a child, coming up late in the game and just being able to put your team on top. That capped off a good season at Arvest. And favorite memory of the year, maybe a little cliche to say, but it had to be the championship for me, just because when I started having those struggles and then not even really thinking we were going to even be close to the playoffs, 7 games out with 2.5 weeks to go. And us just really flipped that script. I mean, I was determined to get the third one. Like, I wanted the third one because, like, I don't know how to Google it, but there can't be that many people that have won 3 minor league championships in a row. And so just for my pride's sake, I wanted to say I was one of those guys. And hopefully I can do it again next year. We'll see. But that was pretty special moment to cap off the year. And it's always nice going into spring training knowing that you're one of the champions. And I think everybody values that, especially in the Royals farm system.
Brewer, really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and chat with me for a little while. Best of luck during the off season, and looking forward to seeing you again soon.
Yeah, I appreciate everything you guys are doing, and thanks for continuing to support us and lift us up and allow us to use this platform for good.